And that is all of my comments. So with that, we're going to open it up for public inquiry. Let me read the reader's limitation notice here. Jeffrey Grazel announced that in order to give interested parties a fair chance to be heard, each speaker could comment for an unsignable period of 5 minutes before turning over the microphone to the next speaker, and that after each has had one turn, a person may be heard for an additional unassignable period of 5 minutes. So if anybody from the public would like to come up and speak, I welcome you to come up to the podium. Ask that you state your name and address, please.
Lee Goldberg, 10 Arrowhead Road. Quick question just on the ordinance 20-19 with the curbing. They said that the homeowners are, putting in the curbing, but the township's doing the work, and then they're going to pay back the township for the work. Is that sort of because it's on a major road, or is that, because to me it sounds like it's almost like we're in the contracting business, right? So if a resident has something they want to do, it's not like the township will engage with them to do the work. So is this sort of precedent setting, or is this just a one-off type of special situation? Or?
Yeah. It's a one-off special situation because we repaved the road and they had concrete curbing there.
Okay.
Basically with the overlays over the years, coming in there, now instead of having 4 or 5 inches, they've got about 1 inch there. And they wanted to, when we did our general services, we agreed to put in the curbing there, so we're taking out curbing and putting in new curbing.
All right, thank you for clarifying that.
And I would think that since it impacts a public road, the township is the proper authority.
It's in the right of way coming in off of Mass now.
Right.
Okay.
So it was a special situation.
Okay. Thank you very much. And looking at the resolutions, there's what caught my eye because we went right from the 6 so for the alcohol beverage license renewals, and the one right after that, 113, just a little clarification on what is that, the alcohol education and rehabilitation grant for? Is that for police force, or is it for the schools, or
For the courts.
For the courts.
Process DWI arrests.
Okay.
It's extra funding for the courts to have special sessions.
Gotcha. Thank you very much. I just really wanted to, I got to thank Rick Hahn earlier during the break, having seen him chair the meetings and run the planning board for going on close to 15 years now. I've heard the term yeoman used down here many times, but he's done a yeoman's effort on steering that. His donation tonight also for the wall up here is appreciated, and learned a lot from him, and thank you for recognizing him. He's really done quite a service to the community, so thank you for that. And Peter, good news for you. I think to clarify on Kathy's point earlier, I don't think it's in 2050 when the celebration is going to be. I think, did you say it's in 2026?
Yeah, 2026.
Right, so I think chances are good you'll be here. So,
Yeah.
that's right. So it's only 20, I didn't want you to think it was 2050, so 2026. We look forward to it.
You got something to shoot for now.
Tricentennial, or the bicentennial.
Peter was talking about the energy when he said 2050.
Oh.
It's igniting
It was the energy.
Energy.
He's going to be making energy under 6 feet under.
Okay, that's right.
The point was made. Thank you, ma'am.
George Quillan, 7 Bishop Court, and I just have a minor question about the liquor licenses, because I found it very interesting to see the long list of liquor licenses. I had no idea there were so many establishments in Morris Township that serve alcohol, and I guess I don't have a strong feeling one way or the other about that, but I just wanted to know, are the renewals all on the same date for everyone? It's a 1-year renewal?
That's right.
So
We do July 1st.
So this then would be a complete list of everyone, every organization that has a alcohol beverage license in Morris Township.
Correct.
And all of the licenses are $2,500. It's like a fixed amount regardless of whether you're a real small shop or whether you're the Governor Morris Hotel.
One size fits all.
So why is that? How did
State of
$2,500?
New Jersey.
I'm sorry?
State of New Jersey.
That's the requirement of the state of New Jersey, that it be $2,500?
We set the price, but we have to be uniform across the board.
Has to be the
Well,
same
we could
price.
raise the price?
No, the max is
Just kidding.
$2,500.
Okay. Just
Yeah, I wonder, why $2,500? And again, I don't have a strong opinion. Should it be $1,500? Should it be $5,000? I don't know. Just
Well,
wondered how it
2,500
makes
is the max, so That's what the state says.
What is the max?
From the state that we're allowed to charge is $2,500, so we're charging the maximum.
Okay, guess I like that. All right, thank you.
And just since you asked, just to clarify, there are a couple renewals on there. One is Island Hospitality, just so you know, that's the Governor Morris Hotel, and one is Timbers, and that's the Madison Hotel.
Right.
The others are obvious, but those two have different kinds of names.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, George.
And Quality is the liquor store on Burnham Road?
No.
Uh,
Liquor
Speedwell
store.
Avenue.
On Speedwell Avenue, sorry. On Speedwell Avenue.
Sorry, I'm back. So that was another thing I found interesting, is that restaurants and package stores have the same license. I seem kind of surprised.
Well, look at the numbers. If you look at the numbers, you'll see they're different.
Oh, the numbers are different for
At
that.
the end, it identifies what type of alcohol.
Different type of license, same fee.
Correct.
Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to be heard?
I would make a motion, Mr. Chairman, that we close the public session.
Mr. Bellis? I figured.
Yeah.
Jack Bellis, 5 Mendon Avenue. I didn't come here tonight to complain about my drainage problem. Great. I came with some, I hope, useful information. Two of my neighbors are here. I just do want to say it's getting worse, month by month, week by week. Where some of us had a meeting last year in my backyard. I can't say it never anymore.
My shoes are still wet.
Yeah, well, your pants and your socks would get muddy. Anyway, in the email chain we have going back and forth, Mayor Griselle made a suggestion about, searching the hillside for wet spots, etc. And I agree, I think that should be done, but not by an amateur, by a professional, of course, with credentials from the township allowing him to go on the property. Somebody could get chased, people could call the police on somebody. So I did a little bit of Googling. I Googled all kinds of drainage things and came up with nothing except people who were looking where to put wells. And I saw one word that said hydrologist. And there's a one or two sentence, quick 10-second description here. A hydrologist is a scientist who researches the distribution, circulation, and physical properties of the Earth's underground and surface waters. They help environmental and other scientists preserve and clean up the environment, as well as search for groundwater. And it said, find a hydrologist near you. I clicked on it, and I have a printout of 9 of them based in New Jersey. I didn't get copies for everything. I'd like to give Mayor Griselle a copy of this and urge you, and they have my neighbors that are here, and the other 4 or 5 that are also flooded. Please bring in one of these people and have them have a look at the hillside. Who knows, they might find a source in a couple of days, and you might be able to just run it off of the storm drain south of Helen for good. Otherwise, sometime probably long after I'm gone in a heavy hurricane, that whole hillside's going to come down like a mudslide you see in California. I'd like to give you this information.
Sure, thank you.
Careful.
Their names here, complete
Watch out for the cord on the floor there.
The complete website's at the top, but if you just Google hydrologist, you'll probably find the same thing. There are 9 of them that are based in New Jersey.
Very good.
I don't know their location in New Jersey. I just want to urge you to do something professional.
Very good. And
Thank you.
And as we've discussed previously, the water company, SMC MUA, has been out looking at the properties, trying to locate a leak in their system. One interesting thing that we've found is that there are a number of houses in that area that they're not sure how they're actually connected to the water system itself. So the water company has some work to do to identify the whole network.
10 water leaks wouldn't create the volume that we're all in. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Janine O'Connor. I'm a 3 Mendham Ave. I'm Jack's neighbor. I've been there 12 years, and since I've been there, we've had a problem. Mine seems to be less severe than my neighbors because I have put some drainage in. I've spent thousands of dollars trying to take care of it myself. I no longer want to spend any money trying to fix it. But it's only taking care of part of the problem. My patio is always wet. I have a fire pit that I built. There's water pooling from the ground. There's now water behind my retaining wall on the surface of my lawn that was never there before. The last couple of years, it's gotten really bad. So I'm on the email chain with you. And it's just, I know the water company was out at my house a couple weeks ago, and I know there's been some activity, but there hasn't really been any resolution. So I don't know if we can accelerate the water company. Something really needs to be done because now my fence is leaning over. I know yours is worse than mine. So I've recently discovered in my basement there's some water coming up through my floor. I don't know if that's related, but it's just wet everywhere. And like I said, I've spent probably $10,000 myself trying to address it. And I think that's maybe helped me a little bit. But it's now beyond what I want to spend any more money on. So I just want to voice that, publicly. And I hope that there's something that can be done really soon because it just continues to get worse, and all the rain that we get just perpetuates the problem. So that's it. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Secretary.
And I should have asked for an update from the water company before tonight's meeting, but I didn't. Do you know what the latest is? You don't know either. Okay, we'll follow up again with the water company. We know that they do have more work to do. Like I said, they don't even understand some of their network of water connections up on the hill there. But yes, there is definitely more work to do. Thank you.
My name is Elda Estiverne, 7 Mendham Avenue. I've been living there for 17 years. Like Janine O'Connor, Mr. Bellis have stated before, this problem is getting worse and worse, and I just feel like the township could do more about it. And I know you guys think, it might be annoying because I've been here twice already. And like Janine says, I'm getting most of the damage right now. My yard is really a mess. And I'm sure everybody on the committee, on the board here is sitting and enjoying their yard. I don't have any grass. It's muddy. And I know the town did do some work, maybe, it's literally like a Band-Aid, because you guys did the drain storm board, but the draining pipe that my neighbor did install is not enough to contain the water that's coming from the ground. And I am not an expert at water engineering, or nothing like that, but the fact is the water is not coming from a pipe or two pipes. It's literally groundwater. So there needs to be something done about it, and it's been, I've had that water, like I said before, for the past 6 months, literally running in my backyard 24/7. So I just don't think it's right, like Janine says, for us to spend thousands of dollars. 4 years ago, I put drains. I had to, fix. I was getting water in my basement, so I spent thousands of dollars on doing that to waterproof my basement because I was getting water in ground, and now it's all over. And I just feel like the town doesn't think the problem is serious enough to do anything about it. And I hope there will be some resolution about it soon. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, we do, just to address your last comment, we are taking it seriously. And we're just trying to do it in an orderly manner. The first piece of the puzzle, so to speak, is to understand the water system so we can determine first if the water's coming from a pipe versus another natural source. So we are trying to do it in an orderly fashion and working with the water company. It's unfortunate that they have not been as fast as we would like them to be. But we are moving forward. I'm sorry it's not as fast as you'd like, and I'm sorry. I really am very sorry for what you're experiencing in your backyards. I drive by that road every day, and it's very interesting for me. Some days I see water on the road, some days I don't. But Elda, I've driven by and I've actually seen water coming out through your fence down your driveway. So I know that it's still coming down the hill. I look for it every single day, I promise, as I drive by, and we'll continue to work to try to find a solution. Thank you.
Diane Holland, 26 North Bridger Place. I may have been out of the loop. I wonder if there's any update on the Collinsville playground? Has it been opened?
Not started yet.
I'm sorry?
It is not completed yet.
When's the expected completion?
We're waiting for a fabricated piece and put down the attenuation surface, and then it'll be done.
How long have we been waiting?
It's very close, and we will also have a ribbon cutting ceremony there when it is complete to have a celebration for the completion of the new park that we have.
Do you think you'll put it out on the messenger? Because it's been a long time coming. Be a thought. Be a nice communication. For those who didn't hear. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, if I may
Yes, please.
about the water issue. It seems like some left already, but we never find anybody to be annoying when they come to speak to us. So we welcome anybody that lives in our township to make comments. Unfortunately, we don't like to hear those types of comments because it means that our residents are suffering in some way. I will say that I partially feel that pain. I live on a flat surface, and half of my yard somehow, some way, has not become usable anymore too. So we do have a problem in our township with water issues. Part of it has to do with overdevelopment. Part of it has to do with there's a lot of rain that we get, so the water doesn't have any place to go. So it's a combination of a number of factors. But as the mayor mentioned, we do take these situations very, very seriously. But there is a certain protocol we have to follow in an orderly fashion to try to find what the issues are. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? Anybody else who'd like to make a comment?
Hi, sorry we're late.
You're right on time.
We had a weird softball. We're also on, we live at 1 Egbert, I'm Angela Klein, 1 Egbert Avenue. This is,
Scott Klein.
and we have the same water issues too. It's just bad, like I said, I can't even walk to my neighbor's house without wearing like the galoshes, because it's just mud and mush and.
Everything's sinking, even the rocks, everything, it's almost like the house, everything is just, we've been there for about 11 years, and this past 2 years have been, it just seems like everything's coming over. And the kids can't play, it's hard to mow the lawn there with the landscaper.
And we even have like a garden that we set up every year. This year is kind of worse, because like even the cinder blocks that we have there, like we're sinking in. Like you can see the picture, that was like, I walked over, I'm like, oh my gosh, where'd they go? Like we just set them up and they just kind of like plunge in there with all the water. And this was like, we had like those nice warm weeks when we had like nice weather, the sun came out. Like it wasn't even rainy, so it's like, okay, let's get everything done, and then like turn around and then just mush. And then even our trees, like you could see like around the trees, it's like, I don't want to like overwater my trees and kill our plants that we put there to like soak up the water, and it's not even soaking up the water because it's too much. And like I said, like we walk, it's mud, it's mush, and it's just not going anywhere. And we just, we had to replace our sump pump because the motor burned out. And we're just wondering, why would this happen? Like I didn't even know, and then we had to get like one that works with water. Right, you can explain that more.
Yeah, the non-powerless, the powerless backup system. Because this is the third sub pump that we put inside the house. Because it goes off every 9 minutes. And before it wasn't like that. And we set it as the highest level possible. And there's French drains down in our basement. It's just, we just don't know where the water's coming from. It wasn't like that 10 years ago. I could honestly, on the Bible, say it was nothing like that. It's just incredible the amount. Like really, if you could just take a walk, I mean, we're more than happy to come on the premises and you'll see. You just literally sink from your ankles all the way down. You just don't know where it's coming from. It's because even when we dig it up, it's just coming like it's flowing. It just keeps flowing. It's just, I don't know. We don't know where it's coming from, but I know it wasn't like that.
It's just getting worse and worse. Like our yard's getting smaller and smaller because, like I said, our kids can't play, and like I said, we have sports kids who want to throw a soccer ball. Oh, we're all over there. Like, let's go get it this time because it's mush. Like, no, I'll go get it. I don't think you can't really walk with your sneakers in the grass. It's not even like it's just mush. Like it's in our grass. Like we can't even mow the lawn because it's just the area is just not stable enough to walk through.
So one thing that's interesting for me is, my background is actually as an engineer. that it's the people who are down at the bottom who are most affected. So right up from you and really, that's right behind, borders at probably your entire property is number 3, Egbert, right? And I know the neighbors there are probably, 2 years, 3 years have been in that house, you think?
Here, Janine,
The ones on the opposite side of the street?
No, right above where your house is right number.
Oh, they just sold.
Oh, they just sold. Oh, they
She
just
just
sold.
sold to somebody
They
else.
just sold, so we
Okay.
have a neighbor now.
So I don't know. Have you ever talked to those neighbors there? Are they experiencing a lot of water coming through their property?
We haven't
When
heard
Mike
anything.
was there, Mike was telling us that he had an issue, but then they fixed it, or they did something right where the hill was.
Mm-hmm.
But I forget where, we were fairly new when we came in. Plus, we had the baby, our oldest, at the same time that we signed, so.
Because as I was telling Mr. Bellis, it's got to be coming from some point on the hill. I mean, I guess it could be coming from underneath instead of running down the hill.
We know
But if the neighbors had the opportunity to talk to each other, if you just would walk up, we could do it. But just being neighbor to neighbor, if you could walk up the street, knock on their door, and say, "Hi, I'm your neighbor. Are you having any water on your property?" And start a conversation in the neighborhood to see how far it expands.
I know at 5 Egbert had water issues because they talked to us, because they were going behind, because they were, I guess, behind the other house that's up, what's that side road they go up?
Jones?
Jones, so they were like back to the Jones house. So they were going to them, so they were complaining at 5 Egbert. We didn't talk to 3 Egbert, but like 5 Egbert has reached out because, if we're on the corner house, people walk by, they go, "Oh, by the way, have you?" Yes, we have.
Mm-hmm.
So we definitely talked to 5, and they have water too, so it's just a matter of people solving it up there, but then they're pushing it different ways, and it's all affecting us down at the bottom. And then, like I said, our sump pump, the water's coming fast. Like I said, we hear the thing go off and off and off, and it's not like the air conditioner goes off, it's like constant boom, 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 rumbling of the motor going.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's anything that the town could do to help, we really appreciate it. Anything.
Yeah. Like I said, we're trying to take a step-by-step approach. I know the water's bad. We're trying to work with the water company first. We'll see what we can do with Mr. Bellis' suggestion. I'm not sure what a hydrologist could do, but we'll talk to a hydrologist and see if there's anything that they could do. It involves drilling down and seeing where the water flows. But again, if you just want to be neighborly and walk up the street and just knock on some doors and just say, "Hey, are you seeing any water in your yard?" Give us a little bit of idea of how far up the hill it extends, and that would be helpful for us.
Because we don't even know how to fix it either, because
Yeah, sure.
So like, that's kind of what we want, like you guys to do, I think, right? Like, we can go to our neighbors, but we can't do anything about it.
No.
So what's the town gonna do about it, besides waiting for the water company?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know that there has to be a process and it has to be methodical, and I get all that, but us walking up to a neighbor and saying, "Hey, you have water," and they say yes, then what? So we're asking you to do something,
Mm-hmm.
and we're not really hearing anything other than we're working with the water company. We know that, but nothing's happening. So how do you speed that up for us? That's what we're looking for. So.
I'd just like to touch on something you said about, finding out what's causing, where it's coming from. I think I've said this before, but we know where it's coming from. There are all these drainage pipes. They're all coming from somewhere up the hill. The only thing we don't know is the source. I've replaced all these drainage pipes in my house 56 years ago when I moved in. I've seen the original ones, that old clay pipes from, they started using cast iron in like the 1920s or 30s, so these things were 100 years old. They were laid in the ground loose. I'm the only one left alive that's ever seen the original pipes. They're laid in the ground loose, no joints. So tree roots have gotten into it. That's what happened on my property in 1964. When I pulled the tree roots out, they started to run, my property dried up. Now they're clogged here, there, and they're flooding everywhere. And more roots are gonna keep getting into them. What we would like to do is use someone like this hydrologist. Why would the pipes be there if there's not a single source somewhere up the hill? An artesian well, a spring. Now, a spring didn't just happen 10 years ago. The spring's been there for 200 years. But the pipes that are draining it are now collapsing, clogging, and that's why it's getting worse and worse year by year. What we want you to do, find the source, run it out to the storm drain, solve the whole bill. And I think that's what one of these hydrologists could do.
But we will look into it.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out, and sorry for your pain.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else who would like to be heard in public inquiry? And seeing none, I will move that we close the public inquiry. A second on that? Okay, very good. Let's see. Consideration of monthly reports. Will somebody move the monthly reports as circulated, which include, let's see, Office of the Township Clerk, Township Administrator, Tax Collector, Finance, Police, Joint Court, and Joint Library and Fire?
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Claims for payment. List of bills and vouchers totaling $9,505,596.49. And as a reminder, we are the tax collector for not only the township, but for the school district, for the county, and for the library. So we collect a lot of money, and that's why that number is so big. Will somebody
I'll
move the
move the
claims for
payments,
payment?
Mr. Mayor.
Second? Can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Arvanites?
Yes.
Mr. Sharkey?
Yes.
Mr. Marcusa?
Yes.
Mrs. Wilson?
Yes.
Mayor Christie?
Yes. And as a reminder, we're going to adjourn to our next meeting, which is going to be on July 19th, 2019, at 5 p.m. for closed session and 7 p.m. for regular session. I'll have a motion to close the meeting.